Are the voter registration laws uniform across the state?
Yes, across all 95 counties, yes, ma'am.
Okay. And similarly, are the laws about how you vote by absentee ballot or by
Yes,
mail?
they're uniform across the state, yes, ma'am. Absolutely.
Uniform across the state?
Yes, ma'am.
But different in different states?
That's correct. Yes,
And
ma'am.
that's led to a bit of confusion with a lot of voters.
Oh, no doubt, no doubt. Social media will tell you that this is the way things are, and then they may be the way things are in that state.
Right.
But you have to look at other states. And so, I have many relatives in the state of Virginia, and they're constantly posting things online about this is what happens and this is what happens. It's like, well, not here it doesn't, but maybe up there. So it can be confusing, certainly, just to the average consumer or the average potential voter out there.
And in Knox County, at least, in early voting, there are just a limited number of polling places, but you can go to any of them.
That's correct, yeah. And I would say, and when the word limited, we have as many per capita probably as anybody in the state, which I'm very proud of. I know Cliff worked really hard to do that. You look at a county like Hamilton, Chattanooga. It's not quite as big as Knox, but it's not small. They're typically going to have 4 early voting spots. We have 10, and in this case, we'll actually have 11. And so we do try. Ideally we'd have 15 or 20, but finances, resources, human capital that we're able to train and feel comfortable with running high volume operations. Kind of limit us in some respects, but we make it a practice in county elections to have at least 10 out there and try and we push early voting big time. Ultimately, my goal would be at least 75% of our voters vote early or vote absentee. It makes for a smaller election day. It makes for shorter lines. We know there are going to be some diehards who vote election day, and that's okay. But I tell you, every election day, I get many, many calls from voters. My car broke down. Something happened to my pet. I had to take it to the hospital. Something happened to a relative. I have to take it to the hospital. We had three calls on election day back in August. 2 of them had been diagnosed with COVID-19. One had a relative diagnosed with COVID-19 that they lived with. They couldn't go vote that day. It's like you had 14 days to early vote. And so every time I get a call, I'm converting another person to early voting in the next election. And there really is no there's no bad aspect to early voting. We highly encourage it.
How many polling places are there for election day?
We have 79 in Knox County. And of course, the trick with election day polling places is you have to vote at your polling place of record. And that's what throws many people, because when you only vote once every 4 years or 8 years, you may forget where it is. It may have moved.
How do I find out where I should go?
A number of ways you can do that. You can call our office and just give us your address. You can go online to knoxvotes.org, and there's literally a box that says, where do I vote? And then it'll be posted at the end of early voting, so we don't confuse people. But they can just type in their address and it'll tell them their polling place. Those are probably the 2 easiest ways. Either give us a call or go online.
Are any of the polling places that were available for the primary not available for the general election this year?
Not that I'm aware of. No, they're all should be open.
So wherever I went for primary voting would be the same place that I should go
That
to
is correct.
actually vote.
Yes, ma'am. And for those folks who haven't voted in 3 or 4 years, you may have some voters up in the Fountain City area. If you previously voted in the Fountain City Library, you now vote at Central High School, which is we think is a much bigger venue. We feel much more comfortable with that. And if you haven't voted in 2 years or 4 years, and you vote out in Precinct 68E, we moved one of those 3 precincts from Cedar Bluff Middle to the Cedar Bluff Library. So there's just a couple of small changes, but none from August. Everything that was in August is the same.
And the University of Tennessee, I hear, may be a voting place. Is that correct?
University of Tennessee will have an early voting presence. Right now, that's scheduled to be the Baker Center. That may change. We'll see. Certainly, that's open for discussion at a upcoming election commission meeting. But we'll certainly have an early voting presence at the University of Tennessee, and of course, we do have the election day presence there at the Baker Center, as well as you go across Cumberland Avenue. There's one at Fort Sanders School.
Oh, okay. I